While still on the subject of shame and vulnerability, one of my biggest struggles in life comes from the feeling of not being good enough. It's something I've always known and struggled with, and I know that I should definitely work hard to get rid of it, as it's such a huge determinant in my life. It causes me to have self-criticism, comparing myself to others, the feeling of imposter syndrome, and funny enough, self-sabotage, because I end up feeling like I'm not worthy of all the opportunities that come to me. I end up feeling like I'm not deserving of everything that comes to me. And one of the things that makes me struggle with imposter syndrome and feeling like I'm not good enough is because I feel like there's so many people out there who are much better than me. And every time someone mentions to me, hey, I really like your work, I'm really inspired by you, I end up telling them, but have you seen this other baker? Have you seen this other person and what they're sharing out into the world? Why would you want to be like me instead of wanting to be like them? And a good example I can share is last year, one of my students, who is now a friend, called Decca, she was telling me that every time she has an order or is feeling uninspired, she comes to my pages and looks at my work and just scrolls through my work to see what she can do next for her clients. And as she was talking to me about that, in my head I was like, why me? So I was telling her some of the bakers she should look at whose work would be as inspiring to her as they are to me. And she asked me to send me those pages, and when I did send them to her, she said, nah, I still like your work more. I still prefer your work. You just don't understand how much I look up to you. And instead of taking the compliment and the kind words that she was sharing with me, my thought process was, I don't think this girl is aware of what I'm telling her. There's people out there who are so good, and I'm not one of those people. But in the power of vulnerability, that's shame. Like, I feel like I don't deserve all these good things, all these compliments, and instead of taking them in, I just tell myself, these people don't know what they're talking about. If they knew what they were talking about, they'd never choose me. And one of the things I'm really trying to work on this year is telling myself I am worthy and I am deserving of all these compliments. And instead of telling you, but have you seen this other baker, but have you seen this other creator, I am forcing myself to just say, thank you, that's so kind of you. Like, just accepting the compliment as a compliment shared to me and for me. And it's okay to feel like maybe I'm not worthy of the compliment, not worthy in life, but maybe I should just be okay with keeping it to myself instead of trying to minimize the compliments that are shared to me. One more thing that I also struggle with and makes me feel like I'm not good enough or worthy enough is, I told someone, and I think she didn't believe me when I said it, is I am genuinely not afraid of failure. I don't mind if I fail 1 million times. I don't mind if I fail genuine 100 times, because at the end of the day, I am very aware that you can fall down 100 times and get up 101 times. So failing for me doesn't really affect me as badly as it affects others, because in my head, I'm always aware that I can learn from this failure. There's always a lesson to learn from failure. So in my head, I'm not afraid of failure, or so I think. But I'm genuinely not afraid to try out new things or to go up to something. And that's probably why you'll see me try out something or mention something on my channel and then just leave it at that. Because I'm not afraid to try out 5 million things. I'm not afraid to put something out for the first time but never do it again. And that's the thing I'm actually afraid of. I am genuinely terrified or just genuinely afraid of success. While other people are afraid of failure, I am afraid of success. I am constantly afraid that once I hit whatever milestone it is I'm supposed to hit, then that's it. What is going to come in life after that is accomplished. And that's the thing I'm so scared of. I'm afraid of success so horribly that I think I self-sabotage. Because even while you notice on my YouTube channel, I do work hard for like a whole month or a whole 6 consecutive weeks. I'll share out content every single week, sometimes 2 videos a week without fail. And then all of a sudden, like when I see the traction my channel is getting, like the views, the comments, I just stop, because I'm like, no, that's too many people coming to my page, that's too many people coming to my channel. So I like take a step back and then let the page like calm down and then come back when I feel like posting again. And I realize this is something I do so consistently because I am afraid of working hard enough and this blowing up. So one of the things I want to work on now this year is being more consistent, showing up more on all my platforms. I keep trying to do it, especially on TikTok, but I do it for like a whole week and then fall back because with TikTok, fortunately or unfortunately, it's so easy to blow up or gain traction so quickly. But with someone like me who's so afraid of what's next, I keep getting scared that I'll do this and then it will bring so many people into my page and into my life and then scare me, especially since I'm an introvert. But it's something I'm working on because there's no way I would get all the things I want to accomplish in life with this constant fear of success. And as the friend mentioned, what do you think will happen when you're successful? Well, obviously, I don't know, because even the word success, it's such a relative term. I don't even know what, like, to me, what I consider as a success might not be successful to any other person, anyone listening or watching this video. So I don't know why I'm so afraid of that success, considering it's so relative. Maybe success to me, like for YouTube, one of my goals for 2023 is to just hit 20k subscribers, which is just 2k away from whatever my current subscriber is. But I think every time I see this, a day I've gotten 100 subscribers, I'm like, yo, this might happen much faster than I hoped. So I stopped doing it. But I've been reflecting and changing up my self-talk so that I can be able to reset my mind and think much more positively and keep anticipating and waiting for this success. Because if I don't believe in myself, how can I expect others to also believe in me and want me to achieve all the things that I want to achieve? I know my sister and my mom might one day watch this and they believe, I know they believe in me, my brother and my dad as well. But I personally don't know if I even believe in myself, and that's why I self-sabotage a lot. And so one of the ways I'm trying to do this is by me being more comfortable in myself and more comfortable in hearing my voice, like speaking out there positively to myself and in my words. So that's why I'm now doing a lot of voiceovers for my videos, so that everything I put out there, one day if I sit down and rewatch this, I can hear the voice of younger me, future me can thank me for stopping my self-sabotage and my ways of trying to minimize my efforts or actions. But because I've realized there's nothing wrong with it, all I have to do is work on it, give myself the same pep talk I give others. Like I know for a fact I'm very kind to people who don't believe in themselves, but I guess it's because I'm so afraid of believing in myself that I don't want anyone else to feel the way sometimes I feel. So I'm very kind when someone tells me, like today I was having a conversation with Faiza and we were talking about how she's an extrovert, she's an extrovert and she's really struggling with no social interactions because of work. She's cooped up in her studio working the whole day, but then I'm like, I flourish when I have no one talking to me. Like that's how I reset, that's how I recharge. And I'm trying to tell her, like, it's okay, but you can schedule like outings, go and do all that, recharge the way you need to recharge. While I'm also telling her, I always wish I had the capability you have, like to just start conversations, to just be yourself out there without the fear of, am I talking too much? Am I saying too much? Am I oversharing? No, I never think I'm undersharing. Do I look approachable? Do I look unapproachable? I am always so envious of social butterflies. I'm very envious of them because they can just show up in a room and get the conversation they need and recharge themselves. But for me, I feel like I end up losing out on opportunities and things because I hardly ever want to speak. I hardly ever want to open up my mouth and share anything. I never I am probably never that person who will reach out to people. Sometimes we'll draft proposals to share with companies, and then once I get the email, all that's left is hitting send. And then in my head, I'm like, maybe I'm not the person who should be like a brand deal for this person, for this company. Maybe they'll say no, and so what's the point in trying? So I already talk myself out of things before I even try them out, because of instead of waiting for myself to be rejected, I already tell myself they'll reject me anyways, so there's no point in me trying. But if I was a social butterfly, I don't think, or I'm assuming, because this is what I assume about extroverts, they are just able to go out there and seize opportunities without that fear of what will these people think of me. And funny enough, I remember the story from when I was 8 or 9. One of the teachers in the school I was in would tell us that how we laugh, how we speak should be less African and more white. Like, don't you know how us Africans, black people, laugh from the bottom of their hearts, like it comes from their stomach, so loud and joyous. So our teacher used to tell us, don't laugh like that when you're speaking, like use a low tone, be sophisticated and something like that. Like, we shouldn't show too much of our personality in our laugh, in our speech and things like that. That we should be very muted. I remember her even telling us how to laugh like a white person. I remember her saying you should laugh ha ha ha, instead of like how most people laugh, like from the bottom of their heart when something is so funny. And I remember that story from 22 to 24 years ago, because I was either 7, 8 or 9 when this was being told to us in class. And I remember that story this week, and then I started asking myself, was I really always so quiet, or did I become as quiet as I am now because of what that teacher said? But I know from what my dad and mom have mentioned about me being young, I never used to speak. My mom used to tell me I just used to stare at people. And I remember there was a time I was sick, but not so sick that I couldn't speak, and my dad was getting mad at me because I wasn't opening like I was refusing to speak. He kept asking me like to tell the doctor what's wrong, like where I'm feeling pain, and I'm just looking at the doctor like I don't want to speak to them. And my dad was so mad because he's like, you're not like, you have no problem, you're not, it's not a disability, you're not even, I was not selectively mute, I just preferred to listen, not speak, just listen. So I now wondered this during the week, did I become worse because of what the teacher said, or was I just naturally like this? Because I've always assumed I'm naturally quiet, but did the teacher influence my extreme thought of what do other people think of me and all that jazz? But in my self-reflection now, I'm trying my best to be more mindful in the things I put out into my head, not put into my head. Like, instead of telling myself I'm not deserving of this, I'm not good enough, there's someone better than me, I can just be as good as them. I am now trying to convince myself that in my YouTube channel, 18,000 people have subscribed to my channel because they think I am as good as they think, and that's why they subscribed. Because why would 18,000 accounts keep coming back to my channel or hit the subscribe button if they didn't think I was good enough? Why would 19,000 people follow me on Instagram if I wasn't good enough? 11,000 people on TikTok. I know it might sound like a flex, but I'm now trying to tell myself it's okay to deserve and to get all these good things, instead of trying to sabotage myself into losing them and thinking I am not deserving of that number of people following me. Because my friend Tats was telling me, imagine if 18,000 people stood in a room to, at that time I think she said 17,000, because that's why my subscribers was 17,000 people stuck in this room to listen to what you're saying or to just watch what you're doing. Would you be able to stand? And I was like, I feel like 17,000 is almost a small island, so I don't think I'd be able to listen. But now I'm trying to tell myself it's okay to have 17,000 people like subscribing to what you're saying, listening to what you're saying. You're worthy of 17,000 people listening to you and following you. So now that's where I am. Like, instead of telling myself I'm not good enough, I am trying to ingrain it into my head. You're deserving. You are as good as everyone thinks you are. And to everyone who sends me those good and kind messages, I am very grateful, especially if you've sent through anything this year. You'll realize I have been saying thank you more. I've been avoiding saying thank you, but or oh, I'm just trying my best to just say thank you. And if I've never said it to you or you've never mentioned it, just know from the bottom of my heart, I am grateful for everyone who gives me feedback, for everyone who tells me how I can improve. I am genuinely taking all that into heart and seeing the positive of you guys telling me what it is I can work on to make this better, to make this bigger. And I'm very grateful and very honored that you guys see something in me and makes you guys want to come back and see more of me. So that's it for this one, and I'll definitely see you in the next one. Bye.